In this case, you will see an emotional father begging for mercy, a judge who isn't buying the excuses, dangerous moments with a gun and a child in the same house, and a rare twist where the judge actually leaves the door open for a second chance. This case has everything: drama, danger, and decisions that will keep you on edge until the very end. Stick with me as we break it all down, and if you love real courtroom drama, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss the next case.
Good morning. Are you Anthony Domingo? And Mr. Domingo was previously in court, entered pleas of guilty to the third-degree felony offense of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon and the second-degree felony offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There was an agreement for a cap of 8 years in each of those cases. I've received the pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity?
Notice something here. Unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon is already serious, but pair it with aggravated assault using a deadly weapon. That's a combo judges rarely take lightly. The deal capped at 8 years might actually be the best case scenario for him.
To review the report. Are there any additions or corrections?
Nothing.
All right, Mr. Lewis, you may proceed.
Judge, with Mr. Domingo, there was a situation, of course, where he had not been out of custody long at the time when he picked up this case, these two cases here. And when he was released from custody from TDC, he had made several strides as far as trying to get stable, or maybe finding somewhere to live, stable job, doing what he needs to do. Unfortunately, some of his decisions as far as who he was involved with at the time did not help matters. He also, according to see from the PSI, that there was some drug use that was going on. And from talking with him, I think a lot of that was self-medicating from a lot of the things he dealt with while he was in TDC until after. He lost several family members during that time period. I believe he even came home to family members that were ill and lost them shortly after. And we believe that community supervision would have the structure of things, vehicles that he would need to be able to address those issues, address any anger issues that would allow him to not be in this situation again. I think his attitude, which is clear from his additional statement that he gave in regards to how he feels about the situation he's put himself in, as far as wanting to move forward and be productive. I think even probation and their recommendations as far as allowing the court to know that there are things that are available that could help him to not be in this situation again. And that's what we're asking for, Judge, is that he's given that opportunity. Like I said, in that short time, he did make a lot of strides, and I believe that going back to TDC at this point would be very counterproductive to his future that he still has out there for him. He's still young. He still, will have a life there afterwards, and he, as well as Mr. Domingo, would like to address the court as well.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, it's like this. I just got done doing 10 years before, 6 months before I got locked up, and I wasn't doing nothing besides really going to work. And
he's trying to pull on the judge's heartstrings, painting himself as a father just trying to do right. But here's the catch: emotional appeals do not erase the facts. And this judge, she does not hand out second chances just because someone says, "I am not a bad person." What do you think? Should fatherhood soften his sentence?
Taking care of my son, helping my aunt out. That's what I say. Trying to get myself together. And basically, it's like I just feel like I don't really deserve no time. Like, cause the thing is, like, you gonna do what you want to do, Miss, but my thing is, like, I'm not a bad person. I don't get into stuff. My only thing is going to work and prospering and helping my family prosper and being up for my child. And he was staying with me before this happened. Since I've been home, he's been staying with me. Cause I've been out of his life since he was 1 year old. And I just want to be able to at least finish
Was it your kid or another kid that was in the house that day?
It was my child.
It was his son.
Okay, so I have no words. You barricaded, you were out of prison. You'd served 10 years.
Yes, ma'am.
You grew up, more mature. You have an opportunity at freedom.
Yes, ma'am.
You say you're not a bad person and you were doing things great, but you got out, you started using drugs again. You barricaded yourself inside a home with a gun with your 11-year-old so that the SWAT team had to come out.
I didn't barricade myself.
But you don't deserve anything. How does that even make sense?
Now, in this situation, it's critical.
It is.
It's very critical.
It's very critical. You're right.
Like the paperwork from the police report is true, but it's not all true. Because I didn't barricade myself and how they could have came in.
Boom. She cuts straight through his excuses. Barricaded or not, the reality is crystal clear. He had a gun, his child was inside, and police had to respond like it was life or death. Word games won't undo that level of danger.
Okay, so, but you were inside the house with a gun, so you didn't put something up against the door and barricade
I
it.
did not do that.
Right, okay, but still, you're inside the house with a gun with your kids. So we're not going to play semantics here and word games about what did and didn't happen. They don't know what they're walking into. They know that they probably received a call.
Saying that somebody had a gun.
Yeah,
And I understand.
and that part's true, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So they don't know what they're coming up on.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Smith?
Judge, the ring camera that was associated with this also showed that he was brandishing the weapon, threatening to kill the paramour, and he's had, I believe, several chances at probation. He's never been able to successfully complete probation. He was on probation from 2011 until he finally got revoked on the other case in 2014. After that, he went to prison, was in prison for 10 years, and didn't make it 6 months before he committed these crimes. The chances of him actually being able to make probation are very small, I believe, and the fact that this could have been a lot worse had police not been calm and not just gone in the house. It could have been bad for her, for the boy, and for the defendant here. He has no education. He's probably limited to labor-type jobs only. And he's demonstrated an unwillingness to follow the law, to make himself a useful member of society. He was using drugs, and a fairly substantial list of drugs. He was on alcohol, cannabis, Xanax, ecstasy, and codeine.
Codeine.
After having just gotten out of prison. And possessed a firearm and threatened people with the firearm.
Was there some time when you got out of prison that you had to go to a halfway house?
No, ma'am.
Because you had to do all your time?
I did all my time.
You did every bit of it.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that you didn't act right while you were in prison.
For the
Because-
most part, I didn't.
But most people make parole.
Now,
You
see,
know?
for the most part, I didn't.
You didn't?
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I was young. Like, going through TEC, it's hard to.
I have no idea. I'm sure it's hard. I have no idea. No, I mean,
And Judge, if I may,
yeah.
I think some of the things I was talking about as far as the things that's available through probation, Judge, will help with his emotional stability. Because a lot of that was, like I said, the things he dealt with while he was there and what he came home to. Like I said, he made strides and everything as far as to try to get himself stable before he's taking care of himself. I think, he needs to spend more time on himself before getting into relationships and things like that could draw him to situations like this. Or, not having that emotional stability.
All right, anything else? Mr. Domingo, I think you've had all the opportunities. The fact that you got out and immediately started using drugs, all the drugs, and
Can I speak this?
yes,
When I filled out my PSI, I filled out my PSI for all the drugs that I did before, not for the drugs I was doing.
I know, but so you said here though that your date, it specifies on the PSI the date of your last use of drugs. So this shows that you last used alcohol April 23rd of 2024.
Yeah, I got good.
Okay. That you last used marijuana February of 2024. So that was in between when you got out of prison and when you got locked up again. It shows that you last used Xanax March of 2024, which is in between that 6-month time. It shows you last used ecstasy March of 2024, which is in between that time. It shows that you last used codeine in between that time, March of 2024. So it shows that you didn't just get out and have a couple drinks and maybe smoke a little marijuana. You just got out and did all this stuff. And got yourself in this position to completely traumatize your own child. I'm going to find that you entered your pleas of guilty in each case freely and voluntarily. And cause number 24, DCCR 1021. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of unlawful possession of a firearm by felon. Sentence you to a term of 8 years in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number 24, DCCR 1022, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Sentence you in accordance with your agreement to a term of 8 years in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will also receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. These cases will run concurrently, which means together at the same time. Now, here's something, Mr. Domingo, that I don't normally say. You clearly need some help. I'm not going to say that you don't. If you're going to get your life together, it's up to you to get that help. But let me explain something also. Don't talk over me. Because
this is rare. Judges almost never leave the door cracked open after laying down an 8-year sentence. But here, she's basically telling him, prove yourself in prison, behave better than before, and maybe, just maybe, you'll see the outside earlier. That's a sliver of hope, but also a massive challenge.
I'm not even sure I want to say what I was about to say. If you're not going to be respectful. If you can behave in prison, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but there are things that can happen, potentially, where your attorney files something for me to review how you've been, and I consider probating your sentences and getting you back out of prison. But I can assure you of this. If you get to prison and act like you acted for the last 10 years when you were in prison, then you'll be there for the whole 8 years on these. That's going to be your decision. All right? I'm handing you the trial court certification in each case that shows these were agreements that I followed, so you waived your right to appeal. I'm also handing you the written admonishment, regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgments entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read that written admonishment I provide you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition or about how long that lasts, you can talk to Mr. Lewis. Obviously, you know that information, but I'm required to read it to you. All right, you can go back with the bailiff.